Jake Paul was attacked by Andrew Tate on the streets of New York on December 14th, and many believe he had it coming. Months of tension between the two finally erupted when they crossed paths unexpectedly. Unable to resist, Jake hurled outrageous insults at Andrew, sparking pure chaos. True to his word, Andrew responded, delivering on his earlier warnings. The clash left New York in turmoil as the long-brewing animosity boiled over into a public showdown.
This is the hardest sport in the world, and people dedicate their lives to this, and most of them never get a payday. It never pays off for the majority of fighters, who would fuck you up.
Jake Paul has built his career on stirring controversy, whether by challenging combat sports legends like Mike Tyson or carefully selecting opponents to maintain his undefeated streak. However, December 14th was a different story. This wasn't just another call-out. It was Andrew Tate, a four-time kickboxing world champion worth $710 million, confronting Jake head-on. In the middle of a busy New York street, Tate stepped up as if he had something to prove. And prove it he did, turning the encounter into an unforgettable spectacle.
If you want to fight and you want to send a contract, send one to me. I will take a few weeks break from living my retired life to kick the living fuck out of a fucking goofy, fucking entitled dickhead like you. You know my name, Andrew Tate.
For anyone out of the loop, Andrew Tate isn't one to do things halfway. This wasn't some casual encounter or a quick jab on social media. Tate confronted Jake Paul in the middle of a crowded street, surrounded by fans armed with smartphones, ready to record every moment of what turned into a very public reality check. As for Jake, his trademark bravado seemed to vanish. If his confidence had a volume knob, Tate turned it all the way down, leaving the internet buzzing with the aftermath.
Let's go. Work. Come on, keep going. Come on, fight. Hey. 50 seconds. Come on, 20 seconds to walk. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Come on, work. 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 Good. Work. 10 seconds. Work.
Jake Paul thrives on confidence. It's his brand. Whether trash-talking opponents or flexing for his 20 million followers, confidence fuels his fights and keeps his image alive. But in that moment, it was nowhere to be found. Andrew Tate wasn't just another random guy Jake could brush off with a snarky comment or one of those carefully chosen opponents his team handpicked. No, this was Andrew Tate, a force Jake couldn't easily ignore.
Yeah, he'll never do that, though. He knows. He knows way.
One, he's under contract. And
He's
two,
not his own boss.
And two, he won't do it. He knows better. He might
And
say,
it's funny to say, like, yo, Conor McGregor is scared of Jake Paul and will never box.
Jake's body language said it all. Andrew Tate didn't need to yell or throw a punch. His towering presence and calm confidence spoke volumes. Jake, usually bold and confrontational, looked completely out of his element. When the guy famous for his loud mouth and sharp comebacks is left speechless, you know the situation is dire. Tate's demeanor alone left a lasting impression.
I'm one of the lucky ones. I made a little bit of money. I don't have 50 million to bet with you, but I do have 3 million to bet with you. So this is your offer. $3 million. You put 3, I put 3. Winner takes all. I'm 5 years out the ring. I'm a kickball.
His wasn't a spur-of-the-moment clash. Andrew Tate's decision to confront Jake Paul had been building for months. Jake's reputation for calling out legends well past their prime while sidestepping genuine threats didn't sit well with Tate. As someone who's dedicated his life to combat sports, watching Jake cherry-pick opponents was likely infuriating. But when Jake had the audacity to call Tate a washed-up fighter, that was the final straw, and Tate made sure to settle it publicly.
You see some of these crossover fights. Obviously, I know that you and Jake Paul have had your disagreements. Do you think that Jake's gotten better as a boxer?
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And listen, what Jake Paul has accomplished is he's fighting old guys.
Yes.
He's fighting, all he fights are old guys and whatever. But listen, say what you want, he wins. And he makes money. So he's doing his thing, you know?
Tate didn't approach Jake for clout. Let's be honest, he doesn't need it. It wasn't about money either, as Tate's bank account is already full. What he wanted was simple: to make a statement. In combat sports, respect isn't earned through follower counts or trash talk. It's about proving yourself against real competition, something Jake has consistently avoided. Tate wasn't there to play games. He was there to remind Jake what true respect in the fight world looks like. December 14th started like any other day, until it didn't. On a crowded street, with fans creating a circle around them, Andrew Tate made his move. Phones were out, cameras were rolling, and within minutes, the footage flooded social media. The hashtags quickly started trending. Hashtag Tate Hivpide, hashtag Jake Paul exposed, hashtag RIP the game.
Brothers, one cage. Jake Logan, you Tristan. Who comes out alive?
You know what? I'm trying so hard to not start internet beefs. I'm really trying not to.
You could say Jake and Logan, man.
Bro,
Don't worry about it.
No, I can't lie. But I'm going through life. I'm trying to live peaceful now. I've got Fed agents in my house. Matrix is after me. I'm just trying to live peaceful. But of course, I have absolute faith in myself and my brother, and I know what we've been through, and I know the kind of men we are.
If you think this was all for show, think again. This wasn't a staged event cooked up by PR teams for engagement. The tension was real. You could see it in Jake's attempt to regain his composure, his usual tactics of sarcastic remarks, forced laughter, and that signature smirk weren't working. This wasn't a roast battle or a promotional stunt. It was Andrew Tate sending a very real message in a very public way, and Jake had no way to respond.
I'm sorry. Look, Andrew, fighter, legitimate, badass motherfucker, strong mentality. I'm sorry, Tristan Tate is a weak link.
I say let's
He got a bad shoulder. He's shaped like a gingerbread man. I don't want no beef, but that's delusion.
PFO will set this up.
Uh-oh. A MMA
10
double tag team match.
10 million for everybody.
You might have a fight on your hands.
That would go crazy.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. No, seriously.
I'm
Let's
about
do
the
it.
action. Like I'm less talk now. Like let's just fucking go.
Yo, but you know for a fact, me and Jake will travel to Romania. We will make this happen. We'll do it wherever you want, whatever conditions you want.
Jake Paul's entire persona is built on being untouchable. The underdog who always comes out on top, proving his doubters wrong. But when Andrew Tate stood before him, all that bravado disappeared. In that moment, Jake's usual confidence faltered, and the reality of the situation set in.
Lose to an old man who's retired. I live in the real fucking world, Jake. There's a whole bunch of fighters out here who live in the real fucking world. Men who are dangerous and dedicated their lives to this sport and don't have a fucking fraction of the money you have because you managed to become a fucking clown.
Tate didn't need to do much. His sheer presence was enough. With his towering physique and years of experience as a kickboxing world champion, Tate didn't need to shout or posture. Jake, on the other hand, was visibly shaken. He tried to clap back, of course, because let's face it, that's what Jake Paul does. But for once, his words fell flat. This wasn't a situation he could talk his way out of. As soon as the footage hit the internet, it was game over for Jake's ego. Within hours, memes flooded Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. Jake's attempts to save face were no match for the internet's creativity. From comparisons to a child being scolded by their dad to mockery of his tough guy persona, social media had a field day. Meanwhile, Andrew Tate's fan base grew overnight. Even people who weren't die-hard Tate fans couldn't help but respect the bold move he made. The debate raged on. Was Tate right for calling Jake out so publicly, or was this just another clash of egos seeking attention? Regardless of which side you were on, one thing was clear. This wasn't going to blow over anytime soon.
Well, if I made my money impressing 4-year-olds on YouTube and managed to somehow become a multimillionaire from it, I'd probably live in a dream world too. But let me explain something to you about combat sports. There are a whole bunch of men out here who will never be as famous as you, will never make the money you've made, who would kick the living fuck out.
This wasn't just a confrontation between two individuals. It was a clash of two very different ideologies. Jake Paul represents the new era of combat sports, where clout often outweighs skill. His fights are more about creating viral moments than proving himself as a boxer. Andrew Tate, on the other hand, is old school. He comes from a world where respect is earned in the ring, not through social media. For Tate, it's about mastery and honor, not fame.
Best boxer on the planet is
Jake Paul.
why?
I mean, who's doing it?
If Mike Tyson says, let's do this, are you down?
100%.
I'm gonna make Mike my girlfriend.
Would you fight Mike Tyson?
Again, no, because he's now old, and I would be an absolutely tragic shame to knock out an old version of his prime self. It doesn't feel fair. Prime Tyson would have ripped me apart and lost the offense. To beat him when he's past his prime is just honorable, and I feel dirty for doing that. So there's no amount on the other planet that could convince me.
For Tate, this wasn't just about Jake Paul. It was about what Jake represents, a shift in combat sports that prioritizes spectacle over substance. By confronting Jake, Tate wasn't just defending himself. He was standing up for an entire generation of fighters who dedicated their lives to the sport.
As a fighter in a way that he never will be. I'm known as a fighter in the way that if you throw me in a cell with a murderer, a rapist, and 2 drug dealers, people look at me and go, okay, respect. He would have left with a higher male body count than his fiance. That's how he would have left.
In the days after the confrontation, the internet buzzed with speculation. Fans debated whether Jake Paul would face Andrew Tate in the ring or continue avoiding real competition. The media fueled the hype with headlines like *Andrew Tate humiliates Jake Paul and the showdown that could change combat sports forever keeping the drama alive in anticipation for a potential fight growing.
Paul can fight. It's not like Jake Paul can't fight.
Yeah.
Jake Paul just won't fight anybody.
For Jake, the fallout was brutal. His image took a significant hit, and his critics grew louder than ever. For Tate, it was a win, both in respect and exposure. He didn't just call Jake out. He proved his point about respect and authenticity in combat sports, solidifying his stance.
Be like me, he'd mentioned me before, and there'll be people out there saying, oh, Carl Froch's talking about himself, he's after a payday. Listen, I'm not after a payday. I'm doing all right. There's no problems with my...
The big question now is, what's next for Jake Paul and Andrew Tate? Fans are already demanding a sanctioned fight, and the internet is buzzing with predictions. Some believe Jake stands no chance against Tate's experience and skill, while others argue that Jake's youth and determination might give him the edge in the ring. One thing is certain, this rivalry is far from over. Whether it results in a fight in the ring or more social media drama, the world will be watching. For now, all eyes are on Jake. Will he rise to the challenge and face Tate head-on, or will he continue to play it safe?
There's one cage. Jake Logan, you Tristan. Who comes out alive?
You know what? I'm trying so hard to not start internet beef.
For fans, this was more than entertainment. It was a glimpse into the clash between traditional combat sports and the internet-driven spectacle era. As for Jake, it might just be the reality check he didn't realize he needed, highlighting the difference between clout and true respect.
4-year-olds on YouTube and managed to somehow become a multimillionaire from it. I probably live in a dream world too. But let me explain something to you about combat sports. There are a whole bunch of men out here who will never be as famous as you, will never make the money you've made, who would kick the living fuck out.
This confrontation wasn't just a one-off event. It was a wake-up call for Jake Paul, a harsh reminder that respect isn't earned through trash talk alone. Andrew Tate made his point unmistakably clear. You can have all the clout in the world, but without respect, it ultimately means nothing.